Ever feel drained after spending time with certain people, like you just walked 10 miles uphill in the desert? You might be dealing with toxic individuals. These folks, they can really suck the life out of you, leaving you feeling exhausted and negative. It's like they're vampires, but instead of blood, they're after your energy and happiness. Now, we're not talking about the occasional bad day or disagreement. We've all been there. We're talking about those people who consistently bring you down, who make you question your own worth, and who leave you feeling emotionally drained. These are the folks who, frankly, you're better off without. Today, we're diving into the 5 types of toxic people you need to avoid for a better life. We're going to break down their behaviors, their tactics, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself from their negativity. First up, we've got the manipulator. This type is sneaky. I'm talking about a master of disguise. They're charming, they're persuasive, and they always know just what buttons to push to get their way. You might not even realize you're being manipulated at first. They're that good. Manipulators are experts at twisting situations to their advantage.
They'll guilt trip you, play the victim, or make you feel like you owe them something. They'll tell you it's your fault, that you're being too sensitive, or that you just don't understand. Let me tell you something. You're not too sensitive. And you're not wrong for feeling the way you do. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking otherwise.
Here's the thing about manipulators. They prey on your good nature. They know you want to be helpful, you want to be liked, and you want to avoid conflict. And they use that against you. They'll say things like, if you really cared about me, you would. Or I'm only doing this for your own good. Don't fall for it. Recognize these tactics for what they are: manipulation. These folks are masters at making you doubt yourself, making you feel like you're in the wrong, even when you know deep down something isn't right. Trust your gut.
The key to dealing with manipulators is to set boundaries. You need to be firm, you need to be assertive, and you need to be willing to walk away if they don't respect your limits. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. If you let them walk all over you, they will. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And don't be afraid to cut them off if they continue to disrespect you. You deserve better than to be someone else's puppet. You deserve to live a life free of manipulation and control.
Next up, we've got the attention seeker. Now, everybody likes a little attention now and then. That's not the issue here. But these folks, they're on another level. They crave it, they thrive on it, and they'll go to any lengths to get it. You know the type. Always needing to be the center of attention, always having a dramatic story to share, always needing validation and praise. It's exhausting being their audience.
They might exaggerate stories, create drama out of thin air, or even put others down to make themselves look better. It's all about them, all the time. And if you're not feeding their ego, you're just not on their radar. Here's the thing. Attention-seeking behavior often stems from deep-seated insecurity. They might be lacking self-esteem or feeling inadequate in other areas of their lives, so they seek validation externally. Now, that doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you understand where it's coming from. It's not really about you, it's about them and their own internal struggles.
But here's the catch-22. The more attention you give them, the more they demand. It's a vicious cycle. You're not their therapist, you're not their entertainment, and you're not responsible for their happiness. So how do you deal with an attention seeker? First, don't engage in their drama. Don't feed into their need for attention. If they start with a dramatic story, keep it brief. Don't get sucked into their vortex. Second, focus on building genuine connections with people who value you for who you are, not for the attention you can give them. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not drag you down. Chapter 3. The Critic, Judging from the Sidelines. Now let's talk about the critic. These are the folks who always have something negative to say, always ready to point out your flaws, always judging from the sidelines.
They're quick to criticize your choices, your appearance, your work, your relationships. You name it, they've got something to say about it. And it's never positive. It's like they have a negativity filter on their mouths, and everything that comes out is tinged with judgment.
Here's the thing about critics. Their negativity often stems from their own insecurities. They might be unhappy with their own lives, so they project that unhappiness onto others. Misery loves company, right?
But here's the thing. You don't have to accept their negativity. You don't have to let their words get to you. Remember, their opinions say more about them than they do about you.
Now, there's a difference between constructive criticism and just plain negativity. Constructive criticism comes from a place of caring, with the intention of helping you grow. It's specific, it's helpful, and it's delivered with kindness.
Criticism, on the other hand, is just mean. It's often vague, unhelpful, and delivered with a side of judgment. It's important to be able to differentiate between the two.
So, how do you deal with a critic? First, don't take it personally. Their negativity is a reflection of them, not you. Second, set boundaries. Let them know that you won't tolerate their negativity and that you're not interested in engaging in their toxic behavior.
And finally, surround yourself with positive people who lift you up and support you. Life's too short to be around people who constantly bring you down. You deserve better than that.
Chapter 4, The Victim, Stuck in a Cycle of Blame. Now let's talk about the victim. These are the folks who always seem to be in the middle of some drama, always playing the victim card, always blaming others for their problems.
They refuse to take responsibility for their own actions and always have an excuse for why things are going wrong. It's never their fault. It's always someone else's fault. They're always the one being wronged, the one being taken advantage of, the one being treated unfairly.
Here's the thing. Playing the victim can be a way of avoiding responsibility. It's easier to blame others than it is to look in the mirror and take ownership of our own mistakes. But here's the catch. As long as we're blaming others, we're giving away our power. We're essentially saying, you have control over my life and I'm helpless to do anything about it.
Now, I'm not saying that people who play the victim are bad people. Often they've been through difficult experiences that have led them to adopt this coping mechanism. But here's the thing. Playing the victim is a dead end. It keeps us stuck in a cycle of blame, resentment, and powerlessness.
So how do you deal with someone who's always playing the victim? First, don't buy into their drama. Don't get sucked into their vortex of negativity. Second, set boundaries. Let them know that you're not going to be their therapist or their rescuer.
And finally, encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives. Now, this is a delicate dance because you don't want to come across as judgmental or insensitive. But you can gently nudge them towards self-reflection by asking questions like, what role did you play in this situation? Or what could you have done differently?
Chapter 5. The Empathy-Lacking Individual, a Heart of Stone. And finally, let's talk about the empathy-lacking individual. These are the folks who just don't seem to get it. They lack empathy, they lack compassion, and they just don't seem to understand or care about how their words and actions affect others.
They might make insensitive comments, disregard your feelings, or just not be there for you when you need them. It's like they're emotionally tone-deaf. They can't pick up on social cues. They can't understand other people's perspectives. And they just don't seem to have the capacity for deep, meaningful connections.
Now, there are a lot of reasons why someone might lack empathy. It could be due to their upbringing, their personality, or even underlying mental health conditions. But regardless of the reason, it can be incredibly challenging to have a healthy, fulfilling relationship with someone who lacks empathy.
They might interrupt you constantly, talk over you, or change the subject to themselves. They're just not present in the conversation. They're not really listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk.
So how do you deal with someone who lacks empathy? Well, the first step is to accept that they might not change. You can't force someone to be empathetic. You can't make them care if they don't.
That being said, you can set boundaries. You can let them know that their words and actions are hurtful. And you can distance yourself from them if they continue to disregard your feelings.
But here's the thing. You don't have to put up with it. You don't have to subject yourself to their emotional coldness. You deserve to be surrounded by people who care about you, who support you, and who make you feel seen and heard. So there you have it. The 5 types of toxic people to avoid for a better life. Look, life's too short to be surrounded by negativity. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be treated with respect. And you deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, not drag you down. Avoiding these types of toxic people can significantly improve your mental and emotional well-being. It's like taking out the trash. You're getting rid of the negativity that's been weighing you down and making room for positivity and growth. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on living your best life. And remember, you're stronger than you think, and you deserve to be happy.